What's up, traders? I am not just doing this for clickbait. This is actually a critical moment for Bitcoin price. Bitcoin has held volume profile levels very perfectly almost for the last several weeks in this consolidation. Earlier this week, I made a post. This was on Wednesday, I believe, where it held a volume profile level of, let me just put it down here, of 56.9K. And then once again, now we're back at the 62K level as resistance going into this weekend. Where it goes from here is going to determine if this bull trend lives or dies. And it's very critical. I'm going to go through this analysis step by step because I want people to know just how powerful that volume profile levels are and how they have been in this past Bitcoin trend. So stay tuned. After the music, we're going to get into it. And as always, for the last half, I'll look at symbols that you guys want to look at. So we'll see in just a moment. Cool. I'm going to go. Oh, whoops. Well, that was abrupt. I was trying to get it working on the Twitters, but we'll just go with it. We'll do it live. So as I said in the intro, this is going to be a very important live stream because Bitcoin is at a critical level. And I don't mean that just to be clickbaity. It's very important that people understand how effective volume profile levels have been in this Bitcoin trend as it's begun to consolidate and in history. And I've been recently really trying to study and share this method of price action analysis because I don't think anything works better. They say that there's no holy grail in trading as far as methods go, but it is almost a cheat code. It really is. It really is. And so the reason I say that is because 62K was the key level that price held both at the March the 19th, and then when we got into this little mid-April sort of dipping, and it broke below it, went down to another volume profile level here. And I'm going to go through exactly how I draw this, what the implications of it are, and why I have Ichimoku on my chart in just a minute. But I want to make sure that you guys understand that these levels are very clear. I don't like doing channels or anything like that because I don't think they work. But volume profile is essentially an analysis that looks at where price was traded the most, where people bought and sold, where the battles occurred. And it's just, I hate to use the word magic, but I made this post on TradingView a few days ago because I wanted people to understand just how important this 56.9 level was, and where this level was made was back through the bull trend from basically January through the new all-time high of March. So if we do a volume profile in TradingView, that's what's going to come up in a fixed range volume profile. And 62K was where we had this bulge right here. And then the next level below it was the 56.9. This is where price was traded very, very much back between February the 27th and February 28th, that little inversion period there. And it comes down and it just perfectly holds it multiple times. You can see where price responds to that level. It's like a cheat code. It really is. And then where we are right now going into this weekend, it has come up, and this little bull trend that we have off the support has stalled as we go into the weekend and the U.S. markets close. And so I really think everyone needs to understand this one particular indicator. It's not just for Bitcoin. It's for equities. We're going to talk about the S&P 500 futures as well, because there was a good opportunity. Was it yesterday or Wednesday? Yesterday, I believe it was. Both Wednesday and yesterday, excuse me, where price held a major level on the S&P 500 futures. Let me clear up my lines for you guys. But a major level there. And I think we're bullish for the rest of the year. I really do on the stock market. But Bitcoin is getting very interesting when it comes to the Ichimoku trend analysis. And I'm going to go into that too and what this means. But I want to, of course, try to make a standalone video as a part of this and publish this later this weekend. But watching the live stream, you guys are getting it now ahead of time. Of course, TradingView stopped streaming, but I want people to really understand this particular concept, volume profile, along with the Ichimoku cloud. I'm waiting patiently for price to do the thing with Ichimoku that I have studied and made videos about in the years past, and that is essentially where price and cloud both get out of the cloud on the bullish side at the same time that Chikou, the momentum, the lagging span, gets out. It's a very simple concept, price versus cloud within the Ichimoku cloud, but I've even had Discord members come and say, hey, look, I watched your videos. I did the research myself. I did the back testing. Sure enough, by following the daily Ichimoku cloud on the classical settings, the 26 base settings, it is better than just buy and hold. It tells you when to get in, when to get out of these trends going back over a decade, as long as Bitcoin has been around. And that is going to become very germane when and if price holds the resistance, maybe there. It really has to hold there, basically, and then gets on the bearish side. And at this point, if this resistance holds this weekend, or as the week goes along, and then we get back down to retest this support again, it's not going to survive. Because at that point, we now have our criteria for a complete trend inversion to bearish. And so it's very critical for the Bitcoin bulls to clear this resistance, which 62K has been incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. And we could have seen this. We could have seen this on the development of the trend from this recent bull trend that we've had. That's besides the point of control back down at 51.8, the next largest is 62K, and it has survived the first hold of it. It had a battle down here a second time, and now it has solidly broken it, and it is coming back up to test it as resistance. It's going to be very powerful. It's this moment, the moment that I'm making this live stream as we close out today is absolutely critical. It's absolutely critical what price does going forward. So, as always, if you guys have questions, please make sure to put them in the chat. I'm here for you guys. I do this live stream because I love to teach. I don't ask for money, but I want people to go quicker through the trading journey than I did, and I think the volume profile is the indicator to do it, as well as Ichimoku, as well as 50% retracement levels and false breakouts. And those are all the things I talk about, and you guys are welcome to ask questions because I love to teach. I love to give back, and I want to be a mentor to you guys. So let's check chat. I got a couple of things to look at as we go into the live stream. But as I said, put them in. I'm going to get to them in the second half. Bear with me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself up to do that recording because with TradingView, you have to do a recording. So I'm going to basically rehash everything that I just said, maybe in some different words, but this is going to be to reach more people because of how important I think it is, and hopefully answer any questions as we go through it. So let me get this ready. So what I have to do in TradingView is I'm going to go ahead and put the, let's see. I think I can draw it up afterwards, but we'll do it from this setting here. So bear with me as I play with my settings. Do I want black? No, I don't want black. Hold on. See, canvas template. Here we go. So this is publishing. There we go. Okay. TV sucks. Yeah, I got a I can share this because I doubt they're watching it, but they actually sent me this notification asking me to promote their new Ultimate. Let me bring this up. They wanted me to promote their Ultimate package, TradingView pricing plans. You're not gonna believe this, guys, but so they have different tiers of plans. And so these are the non-professional ones. Oh no, this is okay. So the non-professional ones are this, where it's like $600 a year for premium, and then they have Ultimate, which is $6,000 a year. I mean, so it's like they're trying to be Bloomberg essentially, and part of me can't blame them because I think that the 0% interest rate world that we lived in has dried up, and now tech companies are being forced to actually make money. But I think they're doing this at the cost of growth. I think that if they were to just give people the free features, bring more people in, more young people in to use it, just like the techs of old with Snapchat and things like that, that they would have higher growth and a bigger user base to monetize. But they have definitely switched to monetization. And I honestly, like, if I can find a different platform to support with producing content, I definitely would. But they are still the best in class, and I can't trade without their software because with a single click, I can basically go and draw a volume profile level, find my levels, and I can trade off of them. And if I can find that someplace else, I might actually migrate. VO1, they're such scammers. Your own premium, it lacks features. Why would it? If you're paying money, what features does it lack? And paper trading competition with only 5 prizes. I haven't done any of the paper trading competitions, but it's disappointing because I got into TradingView. I think my first idea I published was, I've been on for almost 15 years now. So let me see. My first published idea was probably about Bitcoin. Wait a minute. Where did did they break all my old stuff? Oh, you just, yeah. Just in the last few weeks, they've broken the thumbnails on posts from 10 years ago. So yeah, my first post was on Bitcoin in 2014. By the way, I mean that was actually a pretty good long off of 455, I must say. But yeah, just never sell. Obviously, don't take profit. God, what an idiot would take profit at that, right? But yeah, I've been posting here for a very long time. You got to understand that when I started doing this, before TradingView, I would have to download the Bitcoin OHLC data manually from bitcoincharts.org or something like that, and then post it into Sierra Charts. And that was like a standalone application. And I'd have to go through, and actually later I set up an automated download of it. But if you wanted to look at stuff for individual exchanges, you had to download it manually and import it and then draw your indicators. And You kids don't know how good you have it nowadays. I had to walk 30 miles uphill to get my chart data. All right. Let's make the video, and then we can shoot it with each other. All right, so let me kind of get in the zone, and talk. Can't really put my face on it. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll leave the picture as I finish it up. Okay. So here we go. The problem is you have to do it all in one take, and so got to do it right. What's up, traders? I wanted to make a video for this weekend because I really think that this moment in price history of Bitcoin is incredibly critical. This is a follow-up to an idea that I published on May the 1st, 3 days ago, Wednesday, when Bitcoin was hitting the 56.9 support level. This is based on volume profile. I think the volume profile is the best indicator. It's like a cheat code for markets, and price has basically been following this so well in Bitcoin's recent history. So I want to go through what this means. I want to make a video recap of what I was basically detailing in my idea, because I was explaining this in the context of not only support and resistance levels, but also in terms of the Ichimoku cloud. In other words, what's going to happen to make Bitcoin bullish from this point, and what's going to happen to make it bearish from this point. Does the Bitcoin bull trend survive? Well, here are the criteria. So first of all, volume profile is a tool that I think is the best for finding support and resistance levels. And how I draw it for this moment in time in particular is I use a fixed range volume profile from this tool, the drawing tool in TradingView, from the low on January up to the new all-time high of March the 14th. And we get a histogram of price action. Now, what this means is these are the levels where price was traded the most, where the most battling of buys and sells happened. And so when we see these bulges in the histogram, they become key support and resistance levels. Remember that everything that I'm drawing here, as you go and look and see just how faithful that this is, understand that everything that you can draw this to from this trend forward, all of this histogram right here, which turns out to be very, very high efficacy in terms of support and resistance, all comes from this prior trend. In other words, this isn't drawn after the fact. This isn't magic. This is all levels that people did a lot of buying and selling, and then price responds to. And so from these key support and resistance levels, there's 4 that really stand out. The 62K was incredibly important in the fall off from the all-time high. And again, this was drawn based on the price action here, the battle that occurred between February and March before it reached the all-time high. And then once again, as price tried to try to break that all-time high, it didn't quite make it. And then there was another battle back down at 62K, held. Then it comes up to 67.2, which is, again, a very prominent level. Here as the battle went on there, and that's what held it from making that final push. Breaks 62K, comes down to the next bulge in the histogram, which is 56.9, and this is the last support. Why do I say that this is the last support? Well, it's the last support to keep this from going bearish. And that's what I really wanted to emphasize in my post, my idea, and what I really want to hit home in this video, because there is another support down here at 51.8. But if it gets down here, the bull trend is over. It's over. Why? For the same reason that it begun. If you go back and you look at price versus the cloud, I've got Ichimoku on this because I think Ichimoku on the daily classical settings are one of the best ways to analyze Bitcoin price. And I'm going to make a video about this in the near future when and if Bitcoin clears the cloud, going back on a back test of this concept. So basically what happens is when price and momentum, the Ichimoku cloud, or excuse me, the Ichimoku Chikao, price and the momentum, the lagging span, both get on the bullish or bearish side of the cloud, that is a confirmation of a trend, whether it's bullish or bearish. Now, sometimes when you get in consolidations, things get a little wonky. But most of the time, what you'll have, including all the way back in January of 2023, when you had that situation occur, that starts the trend. Notice how price got a little bit out, but momentum didn't. It was contained. Just like in the downtrend, price got a little bit out, momentum didn't, contained downward. A little bit out, momentum didn't, contained downward. And so those are going to be, that is one of the key things in analyzing Bitcoin over the long run. And I'm going to show the results, the backtesting results, to why that is what needs to be analyzed. It's even better than hodling. And so what's happening now, as we come to this support and we hold it, the momentum is still contained within the cloud. It is still bullish. It's neutral, but it's still bullish. It's not bearish because it has not met that criteria. But what can happen if, let me redraw my thing here, volume profile so it can be seen. If price were to get down to the next support here, then the lagging span, the Chicago, is the closing price. And at that point, this purple line will then be in this open space right here. And now we have the condition of both being confirmed bearish. So it can get down to 51.8 and respond. But by that point, the bullish trend is over. It's over. And hashtag not financial advice, but I think that anyone that is holding Bitcoin needs to be look very critical at their position. I think that the narratives of the ETF may have been already priced in, and you need new investors to come into the market. We'll see if it happens or not. Now, on the bullish side, if this support holds, and if this resistance breaks, and we can get price up to here, and we can get price to break the 61.26, then we are good for the bullish trend to resume. Because at that point, price will be above the cloud, and we'll also see momentum back above the cloud as well. But notice how it has to clear both this support with price and also a little bit of time to get it right there on the outside. Think forward, think ahead of like what the future of price, what the future candlesticks are going to look like, and you can begin to see that play out, that actually materialize. And so right here at this resistance, it is a support that was broken and has been turned into resistance. This moment as we go into this weekend is going to be very, very critical. And I'm actually going to have to publish this a little ahead of time too, but after my live stream, which by the way, you can catch every Friday at 4 p.m. on YouTube, since they don't do it on TradingView anymore, and now on X as well. So I hope this is really informative for people. I think it's incredibly important that people pay attention to this, learn volume profile, and trade wisely. Thanks for watching. Okay. All right. Thanks for sitting through that. I hope you guys. What's up, traders? I want to. All right. Now it's got to upload. So that is just a recap of why I think it's so important right now. I really want people to know this. I really want people to understand this concept. I want you in anything that you're looking at, whether it's stocks or crypto or anything, do a volume profile, because I've been talking about this for weeks and months because I'm so enamored with it. I was using Apple, for instance. Whoa, Apple is up. Wow. Okay. All right. I didn't even notice that Apple was up almost 6% today. But by the way, because I was going to do a volume profile on it, if you look, where was that? Oh, there it is. See, you had the point of control there at 172, and then its last support was right there. Again, this is from the uptrend from the beginning of 2023 to August 2023. That uptrend, there's that bulge, and ping, right at 164.89. I mean, it's guys, it's beautiful. Like with Bitcoin at this level, the level that it hit right here. I sit here and I look at the 30-minute chart from this week, where price comes down to that level from the bullish trend, and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, launch. I can't not get excited about this. I mean, it really is like a cheat code. It really, really is. And of course, with everything in trading, nothing's 100%. So you have to use a little. You have to take some risk. Does it always hold? No, but it's the incredible holds that happen at volume profile levels have just. It's just fascinated me. It's become my number one field of study, and I use these examples in pretty much every live stream. But I'll recap them. Even on stocks, after 2 decades, looking at Amazon from 2021 all the way up to the all-time high, which is now retesting again. Before I would just take things on 50% levels, but now that I use volume profile, I can actually begin to see where the more perfect level is often the level that responds to volume profile. There's the level of 50%. Breaks it, but then it launches off that level finally. And this is a daily or a monthly chart. It's amazing. It's amazing. And if you guys have questions, I'm here to teach because I'm just so enamored with this. I really am. But I think if you just take the time to draw a volume profile on your charts, I think you too can also see the efficacy. Go back through some of your winning trades. Go back to the things where you bought it and it worked. It just worked. And you're like, wow, this is a good trade. I took it because this, I took it because that. I did some RSI, did some MACD, just anything like that. Go back and draw some volume profile and see if your trade was not benefited by a volume profile that you hitherto did not know about. I bet you're going to find it was. In a lot of cases, not every case, but a lot of cases. You're going to find where volume profile was an invisible force. It was where price and volume came together in the past to give you that support or that resistance that made your trade work. And now that you are aware of it, now that you can see it, you can find more. And that's why I really, really, really just want to shout it from the rooftops and that sort of thing. And so, yeah. So that's the general premise of this week's live stream. That's the topic. It has to be. 62K. As we go into the weekend here, it looks like it's breaking it. But what do I always say? Wait for the bar to close. Wait for the bar to close, because you can get some intra-bar action here, and right now it looks like it's trying to clear it. Maybe somebody's watching it, they're buying it, trying to beat it. But the next level is going to be 67.2, 67.2, and if we can clear that, that's going to be bullish. And so it's very critical as we go into these weeks. We'll see. All right, let's go to chat now. If you've got things to look at, symbols to look at, post them in the chat. Remember, I do this every Friday at 4 p.m. Please get in live stream chat on Discord, on the YouTube, or the X chat as well. I am going to go celebrate some spring with friends. Jen, can you go find the live stream chat and kind of copy post it in there? Yeah, I'll actually, I'm looking at it. I'll answer real quick too. So yeah, I'm here for you guys as long as you keep asking questions, but I'm going to go have some fun here in a bit. All right. Hello, Van. All right. Hey, can you, let's see, who asked that? I can't see your name because it does the streamer thing, but can you show us the setting of volume profile to get the view you see? Good question. Yes. So one thing that I do, there's a couple of different ways to do volume profile. So some people like to do periodic volume profile, and you can find that in favorite indicators. If you use Thinkorswim or other platforms, they tend to do it like this, where you will select the period, which is often going to be like a month or a week or a day. So if I do like a month volume profile, then it's going to show me like the month. But the key thing to get this kind of very granular histogram is to increase your row size. And so I usually do like 1,000. And then what that's going to do is that's going to give you, instead of these big old chunky bars, they're going to give you, once it thinks about it, they're going to give you these more spiky bars. And this is really important for me for trading, especially when I'm day trading futures like S&P 500 futures or NASDAQ futures, because I need a 0.25, a quarter of a point is a lot of money. And so I need to know exactly what that level is. Speaking of which, let me just teach by showing the ES this week. And so the thing that people, like I said, people use the periodic volume profile. I like to use the fixed range volume profile because I think it's more important to grab eras, ERA, eras of price. In other words, the trend, for instance, of Bitcoin, going from January to March, or the trend of the S&P 500 going from October up to April. That right there, that histogram is going to be very, very important for the future of price. And there were some specific levels in here that were very important in the last few weeks. Very, very important. For instance, there's this volume profile level at 49.74, which I made my last week's live stream about, where price, well, actually 2 weeks ago was a Friday when it hit that level right there, that little volume profile area. And if you want to, you can select that specific price action, get a little bit more specific. What I also like to do is I like to dig down because, again, a quarter of a point is actually very, very important, very, very costly. And so what I like to do is I like to go in on a 30-minute or even less if I can, and then draw my volume profile levels from that, because they will change sometime. Because what the indicator does is it drills down to the next lowest time frame and the buys and sells of those, and it draws based on that. So if you're doing a 30-minute, then it's probably drawing from like a 15 or a 5. And so those are going to be like the more granular levels. And of course, that makes it where essentially the point of control for this range of price right here, January to February, was where price and this whole down move stopped. Not to the penny, but very, very important. And then you can also see price respond to this level, these levels. Look at that. It's just, yeah, you're going to have situations like this where it doesn't perfectly, but those are oftentimes going to happen outside of U.S. market hours. Like, am I saying that correctly? Yes, right before U.S. market hours, it broke below it. But I mean, I draw these volume profile levels from the price era back here, and then you can see where these become tradable levels of inflection. I mean, this is price action from 3 months before becoming tradable levels on a 1 minute time frame during day trading. And there's a lot of money to be made, guys. I mean, last week I basically wanted to say, hey guys, if you're not using it, you're leaving money on the table, because it just works. It just works. And so again, when we get into this week, price came up. I knew, market has a tendency to do stuff like this. It's not going to go. It was never going to go off and straight back up to new all-time highs. But I knew it's going to probably mess around a little bit. We may even get a little more because we're going into the summer months, and the summer months are a little bit choppy and boring, to put it into. That's what ends up happening. Like, people go out and enjoy the sun and stuff like that, and they don't trade as much. And so if we go and we look at, we redo our volume profile for this era, and then we draw our lines, our levels. There's the point of control, the most important one, and then there's probably the second one here. If we go forward to, wait a minute, no, we need the one back here. So hold on. So this era here. There, we still see that one. And so we basically launched today, this morning at 10 a.m. Was it this morning or yesterday morning? No, it was yesterday, Thursday at 10 a.m. That level, 50.43, maybe a little bit different when it's granular. It also held on Wednesday, held here, bing, and we're up, over 100 points off that level and onward into continue the bull market. So it's just incredibly powerful to do that. And you can find these don't redraw. You can find these way ahead of time, months ahead of time, by looking at where price was, where the most of trading happened in that price era, and then that becomes a tradable level in the future. It's awesome. Bitcoin up 6.5%. Somebody's listening. Somebody's trying to pump it up here on Friday. Getting very interesting. So, all right, let's go back to the live stream chat there. So, Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I noticed that you've drawn your volume profile with uptrends. It applies to uptrends, downtrends, and consolidations. And I may have answered your question just by doing, because obviously this is an uptrend, but sometimes we need to like sit here and say like, okay, price is in this zone right here, from here to here. So we need to go back in time and we need to analyze, just this area right here, and get a volume profile to know what we're dealing with. And then in the case of Bitcoin, if we go and we look at this choppiness, one of the great levels that I took a short back in mid March. I took a look at this up here to see where we were going, and then of course I'm going to analyze the downtrend as well, and then find that in this, so the uptrend had a different point of control, and the downtrend had a different point of control. But I'm actually going to wait the more recent price action, if that makes sense, the more recent era. So as you go into a situation like this, where price is coming off of a downtrend, then I want to look for where are the resistances in price that got us here. And so clearly the point of control of this bounce off of, again, 62K was 67.9. And so if you watch, that comes in, it hits the level, stalls out, great short, great short. And that was the most prominent level of the entire downtrend, and you can just see how precisely, precision is not to the penny, but notice how in this 30-minute chart, it came up and it did a lot of false breakouts at that level, telling you, hey, I know that price level is there. I'm going to respect it. And then also, if I do recall, when it came to the price action here, you also find a place where you can take profit on your short and then possibly even go long, because there again, holds that level, launches off of it, gives you a little price action up to it. Hey, let's see, where did price stop from there? Where's the point of control there? Oh, well, there you go. Play it from level to level. Start getting a little messy. And when I started seeing it get a little messy and not respecting it quite as well, that's when I actually took a step back from, day trading Bitcoin. I've been kind of patient for the last couple of weeks, because I only want to take stuff that I have confidence in. But you can see how price bounces from volume profile level to volume profile level, and it's just great. It's just great. All right. Let me read some of these points right here. So VO1, I think let's see, doesn't make sense for consumer. Oh yeah, so going back to talking about TradingView, well, yeah. So I pay for data from the exchanges, so I can trade ES futures and NASDAQ futures. I think it's like $7 a month. That's a business expense because I can make that in one trade. So, and that I do think that passes through to the exchange, but probably TradingView gets a cut too. It's a business expense. It's like anything. It's like paying for your cable bill for me, and that's the way I've kind of framed it to people. If you're going to take trading professionally, then you need to treat it as such. And TradingView is, and I still maintain that fact, it is best in class software. But I definitely am rubbed the wrong way that I no longer can get this message out to people on TradingView, and so yeah, I really need to ramp up my YouTube, because I think this is really important. So if you guys find this valuable, make sure that you do what you can to say, hey, check this guy's thing out. He's trying to teach something that's actually really useful, and he's not selling classes. He just wants people to learn this trading technique that comes from his experience of a decade, saying it's very, very important. He's not trying to make money off people. He pulls money out of the market. That's what he does, and this is what he uses. So try if you can to like, share, and subscribe, if you will. So, all right. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, I pay for CME data, but it was about premium. There's never been to a great stream. Hey, I'm looking forward to a good weekend. I'm in a good mood. I'm really in a good mood when price action follows. I mean, you guys got to understand, I've been doing this for, like I said, I've been posting on trading for over a decade. I've been trading for almost 15 years now. And I've never seen anything better than volume profile. Like, I've been looking for something like this. I wish I had known about it years ago, and that's why I'm telling you guys, because my motto is to be to you who I needed to meet a decade ago. So, all right, let's get into the symbols that you guys want to look at. Okay, so I gave you the Apple volume profile. Yeah. So let's do that. Like I said, guys, I'm here for you guys, but I have some place to be. So, I mean, clearly the volume profile levels of Apple 164.89, and boom, that was the level. And so now that we're starting to get in this consolidation, I want to kind of go through and say, like, okay, what got us here? What are the key levels there? Well, let me back up a little bit. If we look at that, is that yeah? I mean, so again, you were asking, do we use uptrends, downtrends? Yes and yes, but then also consolidation periods, because you can see how the price action. Let's just start over on Apple, because I'm already seeing things that need to be taught about. So basically, if we go from here to here and we draw the volume profile levels, we see that on the uptrend, these were the key levels, and these don't go away if you add more data, because you can still see them, but just different levels are going to be represented in the histogram. And so while it didn't quite get to it there, this, of course, was a tradable level. Then it breached it, then it breached it. But if you're a day trader, it's really important to go and look at these longer term daily chart volume profile levels, and then you can catch, like, do your 7 DTE calls off of that level, and you'll probably be okay. And so then if we now analyze from, say, this area from here, we can see that the point of control came to here, and once again, it created tradable levels, maybe to take some puts or something like that there. And so now, if we incorporate all of this without trying to do too much, we can sort of see a lot of these, but let's just draw it up. So the most prominent of these levels is going to be 189.35, and then we've got a couple here. Let's just say, let me clear this up. So let's just look at the whole thing and look at what is the most prominent. So it's going to be this one, the highest level before I think that it can really go on to make new all-time highs is, let's call it 192, 194. Those are going to be the key levels there. Also 189, and now we have a plan. Because we see where price on this, was it earnings? I guess it was earnings, wasn't it? Yeah. So earnings popped it up, and then you can see where price came down to hold this 182.61 going into next week. If we get below here, then it's not going to hold. But if we can get up to here and break that, then that's going to be good to go. And so we can always kind of see that price, just like Bitcoin, is trapped between these two levels. And so which one breaks is the which way we think it's going to go. And so those are the levels there. And of course, below that is going to be 177. But right now it's trapped. Looks like it really wants to capture and rehold 182. And I do think that the stock market is in a bull market. And so I think a rising tide is going to lift all boats. I do. The media tells you that, things are bad and the economy's bad, all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, the charts tell me that we're in a bull market. So until that changes, I'm going to ignore the media and I'm going to follow price. All right. So let's see. NVIDIA. NVIDIA's been very interesting. You see I've got a lot of volume profile levels in here from trying to go through and trade it. But let's just start over. So the uptrend that brought us here had a volume profile level, and it hasn't been quite as consistent. Like sometimes volume profile or VP levels will not hold, but here's one thing I like to think about when considering like stops is when you have these volume profile lack of nodes or these valleys, as you see, price can sometimes traverse them, but I really like it to kind of hold those levels. Let's just draw these up and see which ones in the prior are being held. It looks bullish to me because what you have is price recapturing and then coming down to hold this volume profile level there. And so for the consolidation, well, there you go. Price is trapped. 186. That is the volume, the point of control of this whole entire battle to see if this thing is going to yeet further or not. And so right now, I can say, as a plan, you're trapped between 186 and 119. And so whichever level is going to break, that's going to be the level to go. It could very well still go up further, and then like basically the high is going to be 944.86. That's that basically the volume profile of those two highs put together, and so that's what I would say there. So it's trapped right now between 819 and 886. So yep. Yeah, 165 was big on Apple for sure. All right, OCGN and Amgen. Okay, so I know what happened with Amgen today. Sorry, Eden, we're getting to you now. OCGN. So these are pharmaceutical companies, I do believe. I still, I've been asked this before. Hey, you're going to get away from 50% retracements? No, I'm not. I'm going to go back to. I was trying to do a little bit of experimentation with the other Fibonacci levels and volume profile, but I'm going to stick with that because still 50% levels do seem to hold, especially if they have some backing with a like a former high or low. Oh, I need to redo that. All right, so that's no row size. Why? Oh, because this is like a single dollar stock. Okay. All right, give me a second. Here's the daily time frame. Well, I see here that it comes down. There is the next volume profile. If it hasn't quite hit, we'll see. Kind of hard to do apparently. This is the first time I've really done this on like a lower than $10 value stock because we're not seeing the granularity I want to see, but it's still there. It's bullish. It's bullish, holding support. You don't want to let it get below 106 though. So I would say that. So if you're long, you're good, but don't let it break below 106. If it breaks below $1, I mean, it's not going to be good. All right, so Amgen I read about today. They're coming out with their own weight loss drug, right? Yep, there you go. So earnings, I think they announced a new weight loss drug, kind of like that Ozempic or whatever. Going to make everybody skinny. Little note, I've actually looked into it because I identify as a large size individual. What is it? What's the official term? Is it I identify as I identify as a person of size. And I have looked at it as a way to like, hey, I love food. This makes people not like food. But the problem is the efficacy of these drugs wears off after about 18 months. And you have to take them for the rest of your life. Otherwise, you just yo-yo back up. So I'm not taking these drugs. And that kind of colors my opinion about them in that, yes, they absolutely work, just like doing some other drugs might work to have people not eat and stay up for days and, end up with sores and rotten teeth. I mean, it works, but at what cost? And so right now, people are really excited about these weight loss drugs, but they're still drugs. They're still violating the human body's natural inclinations. And so I think you have to look at them as such. Nevertheless, I wish you would have asked me about AMGN at the beginning of April and not now, because it very, 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 very clearly held the point of control for that uptrend. See why I love it? Give me a random chart, do a simple volume profile uptrend. You can find where it works. It's a cheat code. It's a cheat code. But yeah, now is the point people look at because it's up like a buku percent. But just this is the kind of thing that should teach you about volume profile so that you can see it in the future of why it is the point where you want to get into something, before the news. But I mean, maybe even if you were looking before earnings, like the day before earnings, you could see, if we went back to here, this is the day before earnings. It's like, okay, this thing has it. Okay, we're coming into earnings. I want to make a decision. I want to buy something. I don't trade before earnings because they're still a crapshoot. But if one were, you could say, okay, well, it has come to the volume profile level. It has held it. You know what? Probably good to be bullish. Probably better to be bullish because then I know exactly where my stop needs to be below that. But you can't really have a stop on earnings because gaps. But still, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What is the indicator and name of that volume profile? It's called volume profile, and also Ichimoku. I'm going back through the chat. Do you use exo charts at all? I don't know what that is, Jeremiah. Fixed range volume profile. Thank you, Coffee Guru. That's great. Yep. Coffee Guru, I like you, man. Make sure you're on our Discord. Make sure you're over there because I like smart people. I'll make you a smart money person. Okay. Can volume profile be used on both higher time frame and lower time frame? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, you can use volume profile from on a higher time frame to find levels, and then when you go down to, let's say, a 1 minute chart, price action this week's been kind of wonky on the ES, but let's just see. I'm trying to think of an example. I actually have to admit, guys, I've been a little remiss about my day trading this week because I've been distracted by a Viking simulator. But yeah, nevertheless, yes, 1 minute chart is fine, especially when you're sitting in there day trading. But higher time frame levels work. Yeah, and simple answer, yes. Practice, practice. Put it on charts, trade with it. You'll see. You'll see. ExxonMobil, one of my favorites. I've been long this since 2021. Do I need to worry? No, I don't need to worry. So, ExxonMobil, I think this is going to be, by and large, as we know from the 2020-21 oil went to zero thing, that it is going to be an oil play. So there's the volume profile there, because that's going to be a lot of price, and then there's the uptrend. So these are going to be the two price eras I think are going to be the most germane for pullbacks. If I was going to have a plan here for this uptrend to continue, I want it to maintain 105.60. That's the best I can do in an uptrend. I mean, I love pullbacks because, yes, if price were to pull back to, let's say, this point of control here or this point of control, then I'd start to look to get long. But, I mean, it's just bullish. And so now I look for that being the next kind of support that price must hold for the trend to continue. And that's how I would look at something like this. So really good for volume profile levels because their support and resistance levels are very good for finding support and resistance to take pullback trades, and those are entries. But in something that's just going up and making new highs, you can use it to see, okay, well, here's the line it can't cross, or else then I need to consider either taking profits or reducing my position. And that's another way that you can use it in big uptrends. That's what we're going to be in right now. Going back to NVIDIA, I'm getting really granular there on the daily, but essentially, I've owned NVIDIA for a long time, and so in the grand scheme of a trend all the way back from 2022, I clearly don't want it to ever get below 452 because I can think in long-term perspectives like that. And so, but to get this thing bullish, yeah, you can still see it on this big chart going all the way back from November of 2022, that 893 thereabouts, this is the resistance. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if they shorted it, because that'd be a very contrarian play, wouldn't it? I mean, coming in Monday, or if you did it on today, now that I'm looking at it, if you shorted 893, I wouldn't be mad at you, because when you're wrong. I mean, it's either going to hold here and you're going to get a big old crash, or it's going to break, you lose some money, and then it keeps on going up. Get long, or don't. I can't get long something like this. I can stay long, but jumping into something that's up, hundreds of percent, I can't do it, man. That's not my kind of trading. Speaking of things that have gone up a bunch and then had dramatic crashes, Cocoa, I know I talked about this in the last couple of weeks, but this is chocolate. This is chocolate futures, cocoa futures. For 40 years it never moved. Well, it moved, but it moved in kind of like a normal commodity way, and then just in the last couple of months, it yeeted about 430%. Well, now it's come back down, kind of done a normal sort of yeet and crash. Let's see. Hold on. I don't want to trade cocoa because someone came in, I think last week, and asked about some futures, and I'll do the analysis for you, but you got to be really careful because futures, especially, like, they're not very liquid unless they are S&P futures or really heavily traded futures, and the contract sizes are huge, thousands of dollars, and they gap from day to day. So it's just too dangerous for me to really consider trading, and there's plenty of other stuff for me to trade too. But if you're really, really into it, then you can. But with cocoa, obviously it'd be interesting if it came down to 64.19. Probably every single like point. Hold on, let me look it up. How much is every point of cocoa? Cocoa. Pull this up in my CC. All right, so C. Cocoa futures. Why didn't you do that? We can't find the symbol. I guess I can't trade it on Thinkorswim. I'd probably have to ask them to, basically. So, yeah. All right, anyway. So, yeah. Oil. That's what, is going to be really kind of... Oh, that's interesting. Oil's kind of started to pull back. Let's do a volume profile of oil. Because that's what's going to be more relevant to, I think, ExxonMobil. Look at that. Let's double check that with this consolidation range here. Yeah. Oof. Okay. I think we're coming up with the same result. So our major level here is 77.59, which it's making its way to test. Ooh, actually, let's be more precise. 77.76 on oil. That's going to be the level. Probably going to see that next week. Interesting. Oil is interesting. Who else has got stuff to look at? Let's see. VP on GME. Okay. Get them in, guys. Like I said, I got someplace to go. I'll stay with you guys as long as you keep me talking. It's hard with this because of the little phenomenon of really valuing price at lower levels. So let's just do this whole mess. Oh, the GME, yeah, it's yeeting again. No, let's not. Let's not. I mean, I've talked about this at length. Basically, in any bag holding asset, and that's what this is. It's a bag hold. It's a bag hold. I mean, they all have the same kind of format. Woo! Everybody's excited. Crashes. Comes up like, okay, we're gonna be fine. We're not. All right, finally again. No. No, I'm not trying to squeeze one out. This is the sound that price makes when people are back holding. They get really, really excited, and then that high fails to make a higher high until you have this, once in, every 10 tries yeet that happens. Like, in other words, you've had, this is basically how many we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At least this is at least the 10th or 11th time. Yeah, maybe 1 in 10 of these you're gonna finally get something on. But no, I don't. I've got better things to put my money into. No. Silver. Oh, so I made a post. We use this futures for that. So I made a post about this a couple of weeks ago, telling people not to get into this whole silver short squeeze thing. And oh, look at that. It did nothing. So I made a video about this. When did I do it? What day? Oh, so I tried to warn people. This was on April the 13th because gold was making new all-time highs. And so every few years, people that are silver bugs, and mainly silver sellers, they try to push this narrative that there's going to be a silver short squeeze. You're gonna bankrupt J.P. Morgan if you just buy physical. Call and order physical silver only. Don't buy the ETF. Actually, take silver out of the market. You'll bankrupt the hedge funds. This happens consistently, like clockwork, every 2 to 3 years, and it's bullshit. It's BS. I mean, it gets people all excited. And it's just so consistent. I mean, you can go and Google silver short squeeze and to do everything before 2023. You'll see, like every 2 or 3 years, they try to get everyone riled up on a Friday, so that they come in on a Monday and start buying up the price, and then it provides exit liquidity for whoever is actually shorting silver. So you literally just give money to the people you're trying to defeat. It doesn't work. I don't hate anyone for really liking silver if that's your favorite money, if that's your favorite metal, but you got to understand that that there's a big game, there's a big long game. It's not the first time since we talked about that. I mean, so bottom line on silver is it it looks like it's once again failing to actually make a new high. Not all-time high, because that was back in, 2011. Yeah. But a local high of the last 5 years. And gold is another story. Gold has a little bit more of a reputation, and you know what? It's still pretty bullish. It has the same similar price action as silver in these last couple of weeks, but it itself has very much made a new all-time high. Yeah, it's gold is different. Gold is different. Gold is actually in a bull trend, making new highs. I'm not going to talk against it, but silver, it just can't do it. It just can't. I got a lot of friends that they have a lot of silver they bought back in 2011, and they wish they bought pretty much anything else. So, yeah. McDonald's after earnings. Messy chart. Let's see if volume profile can clean it up. So let's look at the whole uptrend, just the uptrend before it stalled out. I like it when it makes a nice peak, not a bulge. Peaks. But let's just try to grab these areas right here. Okay, volume profile level of just that. Looks good. It's looking good because I see that spike from earnings. Oh, good job, Coffee Guru. Yeah, man. Let's see. And then that one right there is resistance. Haha, look at that. Look at that. Goodness gracious. Boom to boom. Caught. It's caught. Caught between 279.90 and 267.80. If we just do that on the uptrend, we can kind of see it down there too, and then there's up there. Yeah, so but right now it's caught between those two levels, 279.90 and 267. But yeah, I mean, just price knows where these levels are. And that earnings, because earnings is kind of crazy, open below it, but you can see still contained it. So, Starbucks. Oof. All right. Uptrend. Boom. I'm just picking out the peaks. It's breaking that peak. Yep. There's your levels there. Has some respect down here, so I'm actually going to put 70.35 as a more prominent level. And then let's do the consolidation. Well, let's get everything in here. Let's consider all this. All right. Because it's breaking. It's closing decidedly below this weekly level here at 75.88, so it's definitely bearish. The question is, which of these volume profile levels is it going to stop at? Bearish, but it is bearish. And it's just, you kind of have to see, like if you're sitting here trading, what you want to do is you want to go down and you want to see price do some respect. What does respect look like? Respect looks like Bitcoin looks like this. Go down to a lower time frame at the level that you've identified, and then like on a 30-minute, see price begin to react. If it just blows right through it, it's probably not going to hold. But if it reacts to that level and starts holding, that is when it could be worth taking an entry. But it is bearish, so it's got that going against it. All right, so NEGG. Newegg. It's hard to be anything other than Amazon, and that's a lottery ticket. So, yeah, Intel. I like Intel. I have a good friend of mine that is a huge Intel bull. He is the smartest person I know, but he acknowledges that though Intel is working on some incredible future products, that does not translate into now revenue. And that is basically the problem that Intel is facing. My prior analysis would have been, okay, it came with that 50%, but let's do a volume profile. I haven't done a volume profile on Intel in a while. So, it came up, and that point of control did breach it, but looks like it held it. So where are our supports going to be? Let's do from this era right here, and then let's do from this bottom right here, and let's see, where are our levels? Back here, probably the most germane level is there, which is at. The last level being that bottom there, which it held. Interesting how, let's start over. So if we look at this price action here, like we don't see anything in the future, but if we go to our most prominent levels, we can see that essentially the last major level, this 24.58, was where it perfectly held there in this downtrend. And so now as we're making a run for this, the next level that it needs to hold and not is 29.05. Let me look at just the downtrend, because sometimes you just want to be specific. Yeah, it's still that same level. So, yep, 48.10. So yeah, they've got some really good future horizon stuff, but they don't seem to be able to compete with AMD and NVIDIA. Actually, speaking of AMD, so this is one I made a post about too. AMD is IIRC holding there's the volume profile point of control at 138.81, and then the levels that it's fighting right now are these two little dual levels here at 148 and 145. I think it may hold here. I mean, it's really a question of, do you want to wait for 138 and miss it, or 135? But at the same time, it's already kind of violated 50%. I don't have a recommendation on it. It's kind of in no man's land value of risk right now. But NVIDIA is at a resistance. This is kind of honestly, like, I've been looking this. I'm gonna wrap things up right now. I think that's all the questions we got. And like I said, I gotta head out. But just in general, let's talk about the stock market for a second. So stock market, it's held those supports, and on the Ichimoku analysis, basically it did not get on the bear side of the cloud. I'm using the S&P futures, and it's very likely going to go up above it. I mean, in any given year, you just assume that it's going to close higher, the stock market, and you're going to get 2 to 3 minus 5 to 10% pullbacks, and we got a 7%. And so we basically saw the pullback of this year, and we now will probably consolidate through the summer, as oftentimes the case, and then towards the end of the year, maybe around October and into the Santa Claus rally, you may see another move up, but that's going to be the cadence of the year. But as I'm thinking about this in terms of, for instance, like allocating a 401k or an IRA, I want to be long the market, but I don't necessarily want to add to tech. I've got tech. If you have owned tech for the last couple of years, it's a big part of your portfolio. Great. I don't want to take profit yet, because it's not really telling me that it's crashing per se. Like Apple held a support, NVIDIA is still up there, but I don't want to add to my tech. I want to look for other opportunities, and that's just kind of my sentiment going to the rest of the year. I'm going to presume the market is bullish, but my allocations are going to be more of a hold on tech. That's how I'm going to go forward. So hope this helps. Study volume profile. Everybody have a good weekend and trade wisely. Thanks for joining me. Do this every Friday. Click on the links below. Share this with somebody if it helped you. I'm just trying to teach people what works. See you next time. Bye-bye.